No kérem, folytatódik az eseménysor. Március 15-e nagy eredmény, nem verték le a forradalmat, a katonák nem mertek tüzet nyitni, és úgy látszik, hogy meghátrál az udvar, és végre Magyarországon is megkezdődhet a polgári átalakulás, úgyhogy most először lesz egy olyan igazi kormánya ennek az országnak. The Batthyány government, and we have to speak about the April laws. First of all, the first responsible government of Hungary was created, how it happened. But the revolution of Vienna and Pest were successful. Of course, they made the government change their policy, and the King Ferdinand V was in a trap, so he had to accept things. But he didn't want to sanction the petition of the Diet. The petition, remember, was the opposition manifesto. So he delayed sanctioning, azt, hogy ő ezt a feliratot, ezt az ellenzéki nyilatkozatot szentesítse, elfogadja. But finally, he gave power, past power to Batthyány Stephen, István főherceg, who was the governor of Hungary, and he immediately appointed the first prime minister of Hungary, Batthyány Lajos. So 2 more days needed. On the 17th of March, a new prime minister was, actually the first prime minister of Hungary was appointed, Batthyány Lajos. It's a great achievement. And the prime minister appointed the ministers. So the government was set up. The government consists of a prime minister and ministers of different fields. This was a coalition government, egy koalíciós kormány, ami azt jelenti, hogy együttműködés különböző politikai irányzatok között, so all political wings were represented, mindenki képviseltette magát, mindjárt megmutatom. Great figures of Hungarian history were our first ministers. So, well, this is the first government of Hungary, Batthyány Lajos, but as you see, we have some familiar faces. Look at this person, look at this person, and this one. Okay, 20 ezres, Deák Ferenc, igazságügyminiszter, Minister of Justice. Széchenyi István, he was the Minister of Traffic and Public Works, so everything that is development. And of course there is Kossuth Lajos. He is really famous, and he became, he was a radical, and he became the Minister of Finances. But there are others as well in this picture. You find the same picture and this in your book. These are Szemere Bertalan, igazság, belügyminiszter, Batthyány miniszterelnök, and we can say that these people are from really different political wings. There are radical extremists from the left. There are Széchenyi, for example, who is a conservative. Vagy Eszterházy Pál, he was a conservative, fontolva haladó, and others. So, sorry, it was him. So we can say that all the important politicians from the wings were here. April laws were given out. On the 11th of April, the king sanctioned the reform petition and the civilian transformation could be started. Polgári átalakulás indul meg Magyarországon. Most figyelj. Feudalism and privileges were abolished. Serfs became owners of their lands. Ahogy akartuk, birtokossá válik a paraszt. Serfs were liberated, and state compensation was planned for the following year. Tehát az állami, a kötelező örökváltság bejött, a compulsory redemption, és állami kárpótlást kapnak in the following year, a földesurak. No more tithe, tizedfizetés az egyháznak. And manorial court, úriszék. This is the judgment of the landowner over the serfs. It was all abolished. And Hungary became a constitutional monarchy. So we had a new constitution created. The government was appointed by the king, Ferdinand V. The government was responsible towards the parliament, tehát a parlamentnek felelős kormányunk van, tehát körmére tud nézni a parlament a kormány tevékenységének. So we don't call it diet anymore, we call it parliament. Became representative government, represented the people. Azaz, az emberek képviseletét csinálják a parlamentbe, mint ma. The right of suffrage, the right to vote, was censored. So if you had higher education or you were rich, you could vote. If you were poor person without education, you couldn't vote. But this is only the beginning of this change. Elections were held at the beginning of summer. So we have an absolutely legal government, new government with a constitutional monarchy. And of course, the reunion with Transylvania was declared. It's a huge success for Hungary. But there are problems, ladies and gents. Everything seems fine, but we have problems. The relation to Austria was not clear. So how should it be changed? It was getting closer to a personal union, personalunióhoz kezdett hasonlítani, but the king was not very cooperative. So Ferdinand V didn't want the changes. He believed that it was some temporary change, but we wanted more. Question of the army was also a problem. The national army was a demand of the Hungarians. We wanted a nemzeti őrsereg, you remember? National army. But the king didn't want to give up the huge imperial army they have, or he has, with Hungarian soldiers in it. Next problematic question is the foreign policy, because who will decide in foreign matters, the king or Hungarian parliament? So we have a debate. We wanted the foreign policy for us as well. And what about the finances? The empire needed taxes. And if Hungary gets inner independence, they won't pay. So if we start collect our own taxes, then we won't give it to the Austrians. So we have three problems. Result. Three important topics are not agreed. Military affairs, foreign affairs and financial affairs. Hadügy, külügy, pénzügy tekintetében nincs egyetértés. Jegyezd meg nagyon, ezzel a tudással megyünk majd bele a jövő évi magyar részbe, hogy ezt a három dolgot rendezni kell. Ezt a három dolgot legközelebb majd a kiegyezés rendezi, addig még emiatt harcolunk. So, the king insisted on practicing these affairs, and the new government also wanted them. So this was problem points. What happened? This government wanted to start liberation of serfs immediately. Liberation of serfs is very important, but there were some problematic points here. A jobbágy felszabadításánál, ha megnézitek, birtokosok polgári tulajdonába kerülő földek majorsági szántók lesznek, és a szőlőknek a bevételét is akarják a birtokosok, mert az nagyon drága. Jobbágyok polgári tulajdonába kerülő föld pedig a telek és a hozzátartozó szőlőknek. Tehát ez azt jelenti, hogy a piros el van törölve, nem kell többé rabotolni, no more sockage. Nem fizetünk dézsmát, ajándékot, fuvart, anyám tyúkját a birtokosok felé sem, el van törölve. De a fekete, hogy szőlődézsma, ezt nem törlik el, mert ez a legnagyobb bevétel. A szőlő és a bor, az sok pénz. So, ladies and gents, from the grapes, közös legelők, common fields, forests, everything, the owners kept the income from the grapes. And that was a problem. So the liberation of serfs. The government wanted to avoid the peasant revolts and the court to use peasants against new government. So this is why they started liberation immediately. because maybe the Habsburgs want to make the peasants revolt against the new government. So that's not a good idea. Let's start liberation immediately. But it's a slow process. About 60% of the population of peasants were quoters, landless people. Úgy hívják ezt magyarul, hogy zsellér. There were many of them. They wanted land. Landed peasants wanted the vineyards from the manorial lands, the grapes. So these were problematic points. Föld nélküliek földet akarnak, és akiknek volt földjük, azok meg szőlőt bevételt akarnak. You cannot satisfy everyone, otherwise you lose the support of nobility. Ha ezt mind felszabadítjuk, odaadjuk, és a szőlőt is, akkor a nemesek elfordulnak az új ügytől. So actual liberation started, but there was some compromise had to be made. After all, it was a success because the peasants didn't have to pay. They didn't lose lands, and that was a great achievement. But problems became unimportant when the country was attacked. Minden ilyen problémát el fogunk felejteni, amikor meg fogják támadni az országot. És most már tudjuk, hogy az osztrákok a 3 bizonytalan ügy miatt bizony támadást fognak intézni, és erre felhasználják majd az országunkban élő különböző nemzetiségeket. Erről lesz szó a jövő héten. Most ez a témánk. Az áprilisi törvények megértése nagyon fontos, de tényleg number van érettségi téma, ezért is nagyon jó tételesen inkább leírtam, ebben a diában több volt a leírnivaló, mint a szöveges dolog, de remélem, hogy a magyarázattal egyszerűbbé válik. A tankönyvben 228-229-ben megtalálod ezeket, és meg is tudod akkor tanulni. A jövő hét pedig a forradalom utáni szabadságharcról fog szólni, ami már egy kifejezetten sikertelen időszakunk lesz. Jó munkát kívánok!